So just to show you, we have our ZZ plant here. It's actually suffering from some fungus. So what we're gonna do right now is we're going to repot this ZZ plant. As you can see here, you can see that this one was overwatered. Okay, so since this was kept indoors, there was not enough heat to actually remove the moisture from the soil. So you can see here now from this ZZ plant, look, this one, this is a new growing leaf. It just died, and looking at that, this whole branch is not doing good. And you can see here that there's actually some fungus going on there, those white parts there. So we're actually going to remove the whole plant and actually try to repot it and save this ZZ plant. Okay, this plant is actually doing quite good. So you can see here earlier that there was a newly born, or a small new branch that came out, which is this one. So this one is not the black raven, this is just a normal ZZ plant. So if it's already an adult plant, the color should be this. And somewhat, if it's still young, it should be light, like a light green here, over here. Okay, so what we're gonna do or attempt to do for this plant is we will be repotting this ZZ plant. So you can see here in this part that this might be suffering from root crop. So whatever you do, don't attempt to just pull it or yank it off. So this one must be really suffering severely, so we might need to check the roots below and cut the small bulb down there and to save it. Okay, so this is again the ZZ plant. So we're gonna attempt to basically revive the ZZ plant. So what happens is you just need to remove all of the rocks on top. After we remove the rocks on top, then we can slowly remove all the soil and try to repot it. Okay, so we will just wash these rocks. After we wash the rocks, we will be sunbathing them, so we can ensure that there's some fungus here. There's some parts here with fungus. We're gonna clean those rocks and put them under the sun so we can make sure that the rocks are very dry and there's no moisture and no chance for fungus to regrow again. Okay. So we can see here that this soil is really wet. I think we need to put more sand in the soil so that we can ensure that the ZZ plant will not have any of it. So you can see that the ZZ plant is suffering from some root rots. The plant itself, let's just clean it. I think they just use the normal soil here. This one is apparently dying because of root rots. So this one is still okay. So you can see that this plant actually they did the water stem method. So you can see here that it was cut off and the roots just developed from the base. So you can just clean this later, make sure that they're dry. Okay, actually this one hasn't developed those bulbs yet. And then this one, I think this one is the most problematic. There's a lot of those rotten parts. We can just remove them. This part is actually rotting, so we can just get our normal knife and then just cut it out. That should help to prevent roots from rotting. In this part, you can see that the roots are also rotting in this part. You can just throw them away, put them on the side, throw them, and ensure that the plant is quite healthy, and removing all those problematic soil soil is there's not much sand in the soil, so what happens is the plant is actually rotting. With this kind of plant, I don't think we need to water it regularly since this part was supposed to grow. This one is rotting, so let's just remove the roots that are rotting. Just remove the parts that have too much liquid to make sure that we don't put too much water on these parts. This one, we can throw it away. So other than that, I think this one can still survive. So for the parts that cannot survive, we'll just remove them. Dry the soil, and I think later we'll try to put these soils into an oven and try to dry them out, since we don't have extra soil. Just remove the excess roots that are actually rotting, these small ones, so that the rot won't continue to get wet and basically damage your roots, and the plant will die basically from too much water. So we have our oven here. We're gonna just be baking the soil so that we can ensure that the soil is free from pesticide and it will be dry all throughout. So we have just removed our soil from the oven. So this is how it looks like. So we put it at around 200 degrees Celsius, and we put the timer at around 1 hour, so it's quite dry. So you can see that it's like sand now. So this will help ensure that when you repot your plant, the ZZ plant, so this will be free from moisture. Okay, so let's start to repot the ZZ plant. I can use hands na kasi disinfected na to. Very clean soil, guys. So it's like this plant would be living at the desert. So now we just need to put them one by one. So before you do it, you need to first arrange the ZZ plant. So we'll just have to arrange the plant one by one. So let's make sure it's pointing out to this one, the nest brand. After that, we'll just add the rocks and the ZZ plant should be fine.
Daddy, ready? And it's not yet ready. It's not
He don't likes it na medyo moist siya din.
Don't forget the rocks, Dad. Do not burn them.
Yeah, it's there for 20 minutes.
Very important, guys. We need it there for 20 minutes. Oh, yeah.
So now we can see the plant has been repotted to the drier soil. So we just put some new husks on top, but underneath was the old soil. So after this, we're gonna put the rocks that we're baking for 20 minutes. After that, we just need to make sure that the rocks are very dry and hot, so all the fungus would be ensuredly be dried out and clean. So this is it. So we've repotted it. We put all the soils and baked it in the oven for 1 hour each, and made sure that the soil is disinfected and dry. This is how we are actually saving your ZZ plant from overwatering. So this is one of the methods if you would like to save your current ZZ plant. So, but for future references, we suggest you that you don't overwater your ZZ plant, so you don't need to do this procedure, which is actually very tedious, wherein you need to transfer the soil, heat it, and basically oven the soil or put it under the sun so that the soil would be dry. Okay, so after this, so I think we would be watering our ZZ plant in the next couple of months. So we will just doing some spray on this plant so we can encourage it to grow faster. So right now we have already sanitized or already defungalized our rocks or made it dry. So we just need to put the rocks one by one to bring back its natural look with the rocks. So this is now our final product for our ZZ plant. Save the ZZ plant. So we've already put the whole thing back in its pot. We already put all the stones back and we basically sanitized the whole pot including these rocks. So these are now the new ZZ plant. Just check for our next video on how this plant would be surviving. But basically when we check the soil is actually quite dry now, and we would be seeing no more root rots. So if you can see here, everything is so dry that even the fungus can't survive. So we just keep this rock after.
This is a special person to help Vivi. Yeah, I know. Hey, go there again. Wait. Don't take my video, guys. This is a mosquito plant.
Excuse me, kids. Excuse me, kids. Outside. Excuse me, kids.
Put it outside, Daddy.
Yeah.
I know, there's something on the floor. You can clean it.
Yeah, we can clean it, kids.
But how? Oh my God. And then the key. Daddy, what's your name of the snake plant?
Huh?
What's your name of the snake plant? What do you want to name? Huh? Your snake plant. What do you want to name her? What's my
A
name?
little bit of moist soil on top so we can fill it up.
You have to
This is our nice
fill it
soil.
up. Yeah, that's our nice soil. That one. That one.